So I wanted to go ahead and make a video on this tweet right here because I think this is like one of the best ways to put how to actually use a $10,000 portfolio, but ultimately just any portfolio amount. So this could be $1,000, $10,000, $100,000. As you guys can see, this is Greeny Trades. Greeny is his username on X. This is one of the few posts that I've seen from him, but this is by far one of the biggest value posts in terms of crypto that I think I've come across. So that's why I wanted to share it in a video form. So shout out Greeny, check him out on X. He has his own program, I believe, that you can also go and check out. But we're going to cover each and every one of these step by step and just explain them in my own terms, because a lot of these I've actually experienced myself. This is kind of what I did getting started and what I continue to do. But again, this could be used for a $1,000 portfolio, $10,000 portfolio, any amount. So with that in mind, let's get going. And none of this financial advice, by the way, I'm sure you would all know that. But number one is allocating 5 to 10% into education. So again, mostly for those of you who are first getting into crypto, but even for those of you like myself who are intermediate, I'd consider myself intermediate. It's so important to be constantly educating yourself on crypto, as there's so much new information coming out on a day-to-day basis, keeping yourself up to date on trends, what's going on in the news, education of that nature, but also just education on how to recognize patterns in a chart, technical analysis, educating yourselves in ways that will actually help you perform better in the markets. That's also another piece of that education part. So he says 5 to 10% of into education. So in a $10,000 portfolio, that's $500 to $1,000 into education. So this would be something like Kaizen, which I've joined, and this is where I've made the most money I've ever made in crypto, just wholeheartedly being true. And that is in the link in the description below. You guys can use that link and join Kaizen. But yeah, genuinely, spending money on education. Again, a lot of people seem to have the notion that online money, we have these courses that scam people. But realistically in crypto, what you'll find most of the time is there's a lot of membership groups that will provide you with new, fresh market updates. It's not simply just a course. A lot of them will just provide a supplemental course. But even just with these market groups, they will provide information. They'll have analysts who are constantly giving market updates, as well as providing you with trade setups, calling coins early. There's so many benefits to actually joining one of these paid membership groups that would constitute as education. But again, the majority of what you'd be joining something like this is to learn and get educated to then make trades on yourself. So let's say you were dependent on a group, but you learned a lot from them and they happen to fall off or just go away, you will do just fine based off the stuff you learn in this 5 to 10% into education. So spending money on education, you shouldn't be afraid of it. This is coming from a personal experience. When I used to do dropshipping, I bought courses, and that even then helped me in the small amount of time I did dropshipping. It's really all what you make of it, especially if you're spending money on something like that of education. You're going to take it way more seriously than if you just try to find videos for free on YouTube. You're going to take it more seriously because it's all there because you've paid for convenience and time. So 40% would be to spot, and this is very good. Again, this would be for that of like Bitcoin, Ethereum. I think everyone in crypto needs to have a spot bag. Aerodrome is a big spot bag I have right now. I have Bitcoin. I think everyone should get like a hard ledger, put Bitcoin on it. Again, not financial advice. But ultimately, yeah, just having money in spot bags, he says it allows you to have passive exposure, and that's very true. This runs in the background pretty much. There's not much management of spot bags that you have to be doing, like that of futures trading, like that of Memecoin trading. You just simply let it run in the background. You have your take profits set in. So if I buy a coin at $1 and I expect it to go to 2, at least that's when I'll take an initial out, right? You have those set, and you simply just wait for that to happen. You'll allocate more as time goes on, pretty much treating it like that. In a bad example, that of the S&P 500, just something we constantly add to, we'll watch to take money out, right? I guess it would be more of an individual stock, but you guys get what I'm saying, right? So anyways, spot bags, for me, that's like Aerodrome Finance. I've had lots of coins in a spot bag, but mostly it's just a place for you to put a hand in the market passively. And if you can recognize from that of the education where opportunities arise in the markets of fear and greed, then you can take advantage of that simply with spot trading, and 40% of your portfolio being $4,000. If you catch a nice double or triple, you're at 8 to 12 grand from that. So very nice. All right, so 3, he says allocate 15% to actively trade meme coins. I'd say when you're first starting off, yes, this would be really nice to do. Follow key trends, learn how to swing trade them or trench trade them, and run this up over time. This way you only allocate a small percentage of your whole portfolio into the higher risk aspect of the market. Yeah, I'd say this is good, especially, I approached meme coin trading in the trenches specifically. Like, I got a Telegram bot, all sorts of stuff. I got a little bit in depth with it, but I only did it for a couple days, just kind of see how it was. I put like $50 in. With meme coin trading, it's going to be, in my opinion, of what I've seen and heard, meme coin trading is by far the closest thing you can get to gambling in the crypto space. Like, it just genuinely is. You're taking very, very high risks on tokens that are very fresh within the markets. Now, again, he's not specifying here whether these just be like high cap, mid cap, very, very low cap, like Solana, pump fund meme coins. But I'm assuming he means pump fund meme coins. And so, yeah, this is a skill on its own. You can, like, I mean, for real, this is the highest, as he says, this is the highest risk aspect of the market pretty much. You can hit like an insane snipe, but there's a lot of measures that you have to put into place for that to happen, like getting your bot set up and getting all sorts of stuff, or getting access to information of when this coin will drop. Setting up, like, I've seen guys who have all sorts of tabs open. They'll have tweets constantly coming in. Like, this is something you'd have to like be on pretty hard, like, to catch something like the Trump coin very, very, very early. So yeah, I mean, if you wanted to just do really well with crypto in all areas, you could allocate a certain percentage of your time every day towards meme coin trading, and you could find some value out of it. So I don't disagree with it, especially when you're beginning. I think you should just at least see what it is and to at least learn more of the market. But as far as continuing on with it, I'd say if you really like lock in on that of trading futures, that, maybe it'd be fine just to have like a phantom wallet filled with a couple Solana in ready to put towards a Solana meme coin you hear about. That's good that you've done your own research on rather than actively trading them. But at least I do think, yeah, if you're first getting into the markets, trading meme coins, especially like the pump fund, trying that out, just seeing what it's like, it's definitely something you should do. Just for the experience. Again, understand you're probably going to lose a very large, like, if you're first getting into this, if you're doing, I guess, $50 per trade, you might not lose too much money. But if you're like throwing $500 per pump fund meme coin, if that's what this means, then yeah, you're gonna lose all of that really quickly. So I don't know. It's tough to say on that one. Now, number 4 is allocating 15% to actively trade futures. So again, this is where the education comes in. As he said, Kaizen, the link in the description below, you can check them out. Again, where I made all my money from, or most of it, not all of it, but most of the money I made in crypto came from investing into education. And from here, I'm starting to, and I'm continuing to learn futures trading. Now, one thing I will say, guys, is, as you can see, it says allocate 15%. This would be a $1,500 portfolio at $10,000. I would recommend checking out that of Breakout Prop Firm, which I'll link in the description below. This is for US as well as other citizens in other countries, I believe. But with prop firms, specifically those with crypto, Breakout Prop Firm, though the UI might not be too great, it's one of the ones that actually allows US users to use it pretty simply, especially if you're low capital. This is probably one of the best ways to get into it. You can pay for a $5,000 account like $100, and then you can, get like a 90-10 profit split. So let's say you pass your evaluation, which with each account that you'd buy, you'd have evaluations to go through. So I believe a one step is you take a $5,000 account to $5,500, then you pass that and you get an actual account there that you would start to earn profits off of. So realistically, you can get into that if you have low capital. Or if you really wanted to, though this would take a lot longer, but you would be trading with your money at first, is to just set up something where I've always used Blowfin. So if you have $1,500, you put that in and you're just following like normal trade rules. You're just going to be like going with a $15 trade and risking that every single time. If you're doing 1% per trade, which is like what you should do for proper risk management, that's why I would recommend buying a prop firm account. But this is another one of the riskier things, especially if you don't know what you are doing. This is something that you need to learn a very long time about and actually put in the work. Understand how to do trades, understand the risk mitigation that comes with it, understand so much about it, and really lock in, paper trade, back test, do all sorts of stuff to hone this skill down. But if you can you can literally do this as a career. I know people who do this as a career who make large amounts of money doing this, but again, it took them immense amounts of time and immense amounts of effort. So that's something I'll say there. Again, with that of Kaizen, they do have analysts in there who will provide trades for you to at least base off of and potentially copy trade them. But, you know, again, what's going to be more beneficial to you at the end of the day is going out and actively figuring out how to find trades yourself. At the end of the day, that's going to be the biggest thing. Not copy trading, though. Yes, in the short run, just to understand how the trades work, understand your psychology within a trade. But really, for example, if someone posts a trade, really understand why they're making that trade. Even if you copy it, understand why they're making that trade. Try to understand their conviction behind it and try to back yourself behind that, and that will start to work out. But I'd highly recommend, and this is what he said, consistency in time help compound your wealth with leverage is a tool. Very, very much true. Now, this is another thing, like I genuinely, this is one of the best tweets I've ever seen in terms of like a portfolio breakdown. This is, again, I'm very impressed. Cash 10%. Having liquid cash is so important to capture new trends and buy macro dips if we see them during fear. Very, very true. So having a set amount of cash set aside, you could even start, let's say you get $1,000 that you put away into crypto every month. Setting aside 10% of this towards USDC, right? And waiting just to deploy that into a project that you've heard about. Because what you don't want to do is you have money in a project that you're convicted in, that you're waiting a couple more months to sell because you predict something going to happen from there. And then a new project comes along, you don't have any cash in on the side, and then you ultimately flip your crypto that you've been sitting on, waiting a couple more months for that to pump back or to, go and do its thing. But that coin that you just heard about, you throw it all in, you swap because that's the only funds you have available. So now that crypto that you were in waiting 2 months to have, good profits from, you're out of that. And now you're into this new coin. Well, let's say there's a scenario where this new coin drops 50% that day you throw it in, and you panic and you throw it back into that coin. Well, you're left with 50% less in that coin that you were convicted in than you were if you would have just chilled and used money on the side to invest in that coin. This has happened to me a very large amounts of time, guys. Like, I'll be honest, I've lost thousands of dollars through this. So definitely something to keep in mind there, speaking from personal experience. I definitely like this. Great tip to have for your guys' information. Now, airdrops 5 to 10%. That's insane. Since December, he's earned over 6 figures in airdrops alone. Yeah, guys, that's, again, if you are deep into crypto, and this is like really impressive what this guy's doing. I'm not the best with airdrops. It probably is a part of just like, I say I want to hone in on spot trading. I say I want to hone in on leverage trading, but I'm kind of neglecting airdrops, kind of neglecting some of the meme coin trading. Like, these are areas where you can find opportunities in. And as you guys can see, since December, he's earned over 6 figures in airdrops alone. And this is over a span of a couple months. So that is really, really cool to see. Now, as far as putting a percentage of your money towards it, yeah, there's going to be some tokens, I believe, where you have to have a certain amount of them, which, again, you're going to have to spend, money to get those tokens, where you then receive the airdrop from just holding the tokens. There's other requirements. Some airdrops you can just simply get for free. So if you follow the airdrops part, then yeah, I mean, you could be somewhere along, where he was, where he's earned this much in airdrops. Now, I believe, just judging from his profile picture, I do think this came from the Pudgy Penguins. Basically, what happened in December is we had the Pudgy Penguins airdrop. Actually, in Kaizen, each member who signed up got $1,000 of free Pengu, which was crazy. But for those who actually owned the Lil Pudgies and the Pudgy Penguins holders, I believe, got like somewhere around $100,000 from that airdrop of Pengu token on top of their Pengu that they already had. So like they had their Pengu NFT, and owning that gave them that airdrop of north of almost $100,000. So absolutely insane, like absolutely insane to see that. So that is what I'm guessing he is talking about here, judging from his profile picture. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of opportunities that come up like that you just have to be aware of, and you can definitely take advantage of. Next up is personal brand. So this is the one I was excited to see because no one has ever said this, and I'm very surprised he really said this. He said, "We've seen time and time again accounts who have gained exposure over time receive a tremendous amount of opportunities, airdrops, partnerships, work opportunities, and revenue, etc." Guys, yeah, I make from YouTube ad revenue. I am an affiliate for Kaizen. That's not the only reason I promote it. Like, I genuinely do receive value from Kaizen, hence why I'm promoting it. I wouldn't promote it if it didn't provide any value at all. I was able to get into Kaizen from Brian Jung seeing my content. He liked what I was doing, invited me in, and showed me around. And genuinely, it's been one of the best places that I've been in terms of crypto content, wholeheartedly. I got the opportunity through posting content. I've been able to generate affiliate income from that. I've been able to generate income on YouTube. I've been able to have all these other opportunities that have come from just putting myself out there, making content, because there is, like he said, a lot of benefits that actually do come from going ahead and being and having your own personal brand. It's something I would recommend to anyone watching this video to do, because you'll get so many different opportunities from it. I am a small creator. Like, I by no means am I a big creator whatsoever. And the opportunities that I've gotten so far are definitely opportunities that have already paid off immensely. So now we're going to get into the non-negotiables that he talks about with that of a smaller portfolio. He says initials out at a 2x on all trades. This is good for just, again, risk mitigation. If you take your initial out, then you're literally playing with free profits. So this is something I did, especially with Ski Mask Dog. I took my initials out actually at a 3x, but this was $7,500 was my initial, I believe. So again, it really depends. If you double from 1,000 to 2,000, you take 1,000 out. That 1,000 left over is just free profit that can continuously build up if you see the product doing better. And it's just, in general, a good, I think the reason he's saying a smaller portfolio is that indicates smaller experience. And with this, that essentially means taking out a 2x on all trades. So start building that habit of just proper risk mitigation. Don't be scared to invalidate a trade. Very true, especially with that of futures trading. Always cut weakness, particularly if trends shift. Just be vigilant. Just be on top of the market. Again, this is why education is so important. Stay with those who are providing constant value to you, and that's going to ultimately help you out in just identifying market shifts. Protecting capital is critical for smaller portfolios. Very true, especially with that of futures. You can literally, this is something also, I'll say this as well. I was experimenting with future trading with a $10,000 account, and we had a really bad day in December. I remember I literally lost $7,500 in one day from futures trading. So it's very important to understand risk mitigation. That really helps you to understand, to just detach all emotions and do proper risk management. So I don't want you to find that out the hard way like I did. So yeah, definitely understand different ways to protect capital. That's very important. Always rotate profits, always to safer plays. Very true. Like, you guys can, again, crypto is a space where you're supposed to be actively making money. It's not a place, I guess the longer you stay, specifically in one coin, the longer you stay in just one coin, the riskier it is for you, because at the end of the day, that coin could simply tank and then you lose everything that you've worked to gain. But if you go ahead and triple, you took your initial out, and maybe that doubles. Like, Then you take some profits from that, put it into a savings account, put it into maybe towards a real estate project, depending on how big the amount is. Put it towards your Roth IRA. Like putting it towards safer assets is always going to be definitely worthwhile, because then you're going to be building up your net worth while still having hands within the markets. So guys, again, amazing tweet. Thank you, Greeny, for making this really just value added tweet. I genuinely was impressed on this tweet. Literally gives so much value just very easily here. So from speaking from a personal experience, this is all true, guys. Like genuinely one of the coolest things I've seen come out of the crypto Twitter recently, has everyone's simply just been like, I don't know, the nature of the crypto market right now, or crypto Twitter, has always kind of just been trying to gain as much engagement as people can, and this is like one of the few that I'd say like is worth hundreds of likes. This is worth hundreds of likes. Everyone, specifically those starting on crypto, should read this and really just try to nail this down, because this is just game, guys. So with all that being said, I hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.